What's going on, everybody, man? I hope everyone is well. Listen, man, welcome back to the podcast, first and foremost. It has been, this is episode 15, so it has been an amazing ride so far. 15 episodes, an amazing 14 interviews. We're up to the 15 on this one. This one is Marie David. She's just an amazing person who I admire because she's really pushed herself through her ups and her downs, and she's made her way in a business that isn't always friendly to people and always easy for people to get their foot in the door, and she's made it happen. And she's taking care and she's taking opportunities when she needed to, and she's made it happen. So you have to respect that. We're gonna talk about a lot about her journey and where we go with it, man. So I hope you guys tune in. I hope you guys continue to listen. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has been listening. I really appreciate that, man. This is not an easy thing to do. And it's just something that I can honestly say has really touched me, that a lot of people have reached out and shown a lot of love for. So I thank you. And on top of that, I just want to say, make sure that you subscribe, share it, send it out, man. And make sure that you follow me on Instagram at the Brian Johnson Show IG. Hit me up, DM me, let me know what you think about the show. Give me a holler. And if you have any questions or thoughts that you want to add in, just give me a shout, man. I'm always willing to listen, man. And I just want to tell you guys, I really appreciate everything. Thank you. Enjoy the show. Peace. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is episode 15. And I got my homegirl, Marie David. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So this is episode 15, and I want to say thank you to everybody who checked out the last few podcasts. I really appreciate that, man. It's been hectic. We're moving into 800 plus downloads, and we're gonna be probably at 1,000 soon, hopefully. And it's just it's a major thing to be moving in that direction, and that's on one platform. We're not even talking about the other platforms. So I'm itching to see how that's going, but it's been dope, man. I just really want to say a thank you to everybody. I appreciate it. But today we have a special guest, and how can I put this? Miss Marie David, I should say. I always say Davis. How can I say? She's a very, very, let's get it this way. She's a very smart woman. That's first and foremost.
Thank you.
But at the end of the day, the one thing I came to realize is she's strategic. And she's moving in this new media game, and she's put herself in a position where she's got, how can you say this? She's able to scale upwards. And the more I looked into her story, and we had a previous podcast that we didn't go fully with because it just didn't sound right, so we had to go redo it. And this is what the redo right here, but this is going to be better.
Right.
And what I came to learn from the first one is that you're really about your business, but you've overcome things and you keep yourself in a steady pace. And that, in a sense, we appreciate. So tell folks about who you are, man. Give an example. Let them know who you are.
Hey, guys. My name is Marie David. First of all, Brian, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And congratulations, 800 downloads, man.
Thank you.
That's incredible.
I appreciate that.
And the fact that you want to highlight and use your platform to share different stories so that way people can be inspired. That in itself is amazing. So
appreciate that. Thank you.
Kudos to you, man.
I appreciate that. It's been a lot of work.
I know it is a lot of work, but you have to push through.
Yes, you do.
Everyone. My name is Marie. Mm-hmm. I work as a digital producer for MS Communication.
Yes.
MS Communication basically is a media company. We work with Hot 97, WBLS, and WLIB. Mm-hmm. And I also have my own women empowerment website called aladyWhoKnows.com.
Yes, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that today.
And I've just been dabbling in anything pertaining to media, whatever it is that I want to try.
Yes.
I want to see where my strength and weakness lies. So I've been dabbling and trying everything out. And, I still haven't figured it out all yet, but I know I'm on my way and I'm enjoying this process and the journey.
Yes. So you're in media right now.
Right.
Now, I'm going to take it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, you got your start. You started out here. You grew up here in New Jersey, right?
Yes.
Okay, where did you grow up at?
I grew up in East Orange, New Jersey.
Yo, okay.
I went to the East Orange Campus High School. My freshman year, I went to North Tech, and then
Okay.
I transferred to East Orange Campus High. And from there, I went to William Patterson University.
Did you ever dabble in any kind of media or TV or anything like that while you were in school or anything like that, or just
No.
kind of?
No.
All right. So you grew up in You grew up in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And you never, you didn't get involved with any of this media stuff. This kind of just came to you, I guess, in a way.
In my mind at that time, I thought I was going to be a nurse.
Oh,
A nurse or some kind of doctor, because that's what, we grow up in the household.
Yes.
Our parents tell us, hey, you either be a doctor,
And your
lawyer.
family is
We're Haitian.
Haitian, so it's kind of like automatically you got to be in the medical field.
In the medical field.
Because your family's West Indian from the
medical
jump.
law.
I think we discussed that last time. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Look, I'm half Jamaican, so I already know how that goes. And I saw how, like, a lot of women in my family, they're definitely nurses.
Yeah.
Definitely nurses. And it's kind of like you either a nurse, doctor, or a lawyer.
Yep.
They're looking at you. If you do anything else, okay.
Right.
You know?
And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that field. To be a nurse,
Right.
it takes a lot. Just
How was it growing up from being from EO and you were going to school? How was it growing up for you being in a West Indian household? How was that growing up creatively for you? Were you able to be creative in that kind of scenario? Or you were just more like, okay, this is what I got to do. Boom, boom, boom.
It was more, this is what I have to do. I know I have to get through high school.
Right.
I know that I have to go to college, but I didn't have a plan at that time.
Right. Who really does have a plan at that point?
Yeah,
You know what
I
I mean?
honestly did not know. I just knew, okay, my mom is talking this whole nurse thing. Let me maybe dabble in that, but I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So all right. So your mom was your mom a big influence on you at that point?
Yeah.
She was big. She was big in influence. You had your mom and your dad were both with you?
Just my mom.
Just your mom? Mm-hmm. But your mom was a big influence on you?
Yeah.
How so, in a way?
Well, my mom is very strong. She's a mother of there's 6 of us, actually.
Oh, I didn't know it was 6.
So, yeah, she's also a nurse herself. So she's the strongest person I know. I mean, it's just to handle 6 kids. I don't know, because me, I'm stopping at like maybe 3 or 4, 4 max.
So that puts you at what sibling are you? Are you sibling number 4 or 5?
Number 1.
Oh, that's right. You are
First
number
child,
1. Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
The first child.
So okay, so what's the separation? How are we looking at you? What's the separation in
I want to
age?
say maybe 2 years apart.
3 or
each
2?
of us. Yeah,
Okay.
Between 3 and 2.
All right.
Yeah.
So so you're going. Let me just circle back. So you're in like we're gonna pick this up, I guess, in high school for you, really, because that's when things begin to change for you. I'm guessing.
I want to say college, actually.
Oh, so college things started to change for you. All right. So I just want to ask one question. It's you and 5 other kids.
Yeah.
And you're in high school.
I'm in high school.
You're in high school. They're in high school with you?
No.
None. So it was just you.
Yeah.
How was that for you? As a woman, you're beginning to structure out yourself a little bit here, and you got siblings behind you, and you're the oldest. Was there a lot of pressure on you to succeed?
There was a lot of pressure. And we grew up in a very strict household, very religious. We were not allowed to listen to secular music. Was not allowed to.
That is rough.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to wear jeans or jewelry or do my hair, do my nails. So I was kind of like rebellious growing up. So I was the one that had to kind of break that barrier and say, hey, F it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to be rebellious.
So in a way
so I got in trouble.
Yeah.
But then now, I mean, hey, my sisters are doing whatever they want now. So I guess thanks to me.
It always falls on the firstborn, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I grew up with a couple of siblings. I had a brother and sister, and I had another. My father had a younger daughter, my youngest sister. But my brother, me and my brother and my sister from my mother are like 5 years apart each, and so it was like, how can I put this? It was like I graduated high school, then they came, and then after my brother came, then my sister came. It was kind of like we were like in a succession.
Yeah.
But it was like I was touted as the one who's trying to go to school, go to college. I went to college basically because my friends went to school. I didn't really go to school because I just wanted to be whatever was going on in a different world. that show, I just wanted to be in college and wanted to be and wanted to be on campus. I was obsessed with trying to be on school and everything else because I dorm maybe 30 minutes from my house.
Right.
And I didn't need to do that. But you wanted to do it because you wanted to be on campus.
Yeah.
So it was a thing. And I know what it was like to have like siblings and then they're underneath you and you got to set an example for them. Mm-hmm. It is not a rough thing. So
that's a lot of pressure.
It is. So how was it when you graduated from high school and you went to college? How was that for you, family, the dynamics? How did that go? Because what school did you go to? You went to Willie P, right?
Yeah, I went to William Patterson.
And you dormed at Willie P and everything?
My first year, yeah.
First year. How did that go for you?
There was a lot happening in my family.
Ellie asked this because it helped shape what you were going to go to school for, I guess, at that point. Because you were going to school for nursing.
Okay. I went in. What do you call that when you...
Congratulations on that, because that's a hell of a school to get into, is that nursing school.
Indecisive. I guess you go in indecisive, but I knew that I wanted to go and be a nurse.
Okay.
But it was hard. The classes were really hard. I was studying with my girls. We would stay up late at night studying, and the passion wasn't there.
I got you.
I kept trying to
find just things,
do something that I just wasn't passionate about.
Right.
And then eventually I ended up changing my major to psychology.
Okay.
And I loved it. I loved my psychology courses. I loved the whole meditation thing. Like, it was amazing. I loved it.
So what year did you decide? Okay, so your first year you're in school, you're just going there undecided. Am I correct? Mm-hmm. But you went towards nursing at one point. Did you ever go towards nursing, or it was always undecided?
Undecided.
Undecided.
Yep.
Okay. So you were undecided, but then you got into psychology.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to there?
Because
this is strange, because you're in psychology, but you're in media now, so it's kind of like, wow.
I know.
You kind of ran the gambit a little bit, but that's dope.
During my freshman year, I had a very traumatic experience. And at that point, I just wanted to figure out why people behave the way that they, behave, or what are certain triggers,
right.
What are some of the environmental factors. And I was like, you know what, let me go into psychology so I can figure it out and have an understanding as to why people react or do, what they do. So that was when my sophomore year, I was like, okay, let me go for this whole psychology thing. And
right. And that, how did that going into psychology from that traumatic experience, mm-hmm. It gave you kind of a space to understand what was going on in your own situation, right?
Yeah.
So how did that psychologically, you're in that space, you're changing, life is changing for you at that point. You're like, okay, so I'm going to go into psychology. How was that for you? How was that for you to learn those kind of things? And did you find them starting to apply certain things to your life that you learned in that situation? And
Absolutely.
How did that help you?
Just learning how to deal with people,
right.
Having more compassion. Because sometimes you don't know what people are going through, and you might say things that hurt. You know how they say sometimes words don't stick in stones, they break. No, words hurt.
Words
and you
cut
never
like no other, man.
And you just never know what people are going through sometimes. So it allowed me to have a better understanding. It allowed me to have more compassion for people.
Yes.
And but along the way, though, I don't know how I fell into entertainment. Oh, actually, I do know how.
I was gonna get to it. I was like, hold on. I was like, wait. We go from we're jumping around a lot. I guess people are like,
but wait. So here's the thing. Mm-hmm. So that happened. I told you about there was something that happened in my life at that point.
Yes.
And then me and my best friend were talking one day. We wanted to do something that was going to help uplift and empower.
Right.
Right. And we're trying to figure out what that was.
This is circa your junior year?
This is my junior year, and we're thinking about starting a business. We don't know what it is that we wanted to do, but we were just brainstorming at the time. Right. And I was like, you know what? I want to start a website.
Nice.
I want to start a website. because I was very big on, I don't know if you remember Concrete Lube.
Yes.
Nicole Bitchie. It was a lot of different websites. I would go and get my
What year was
cup
this?
of tea. This is junior year.
This is junior year. What year is this in 2000?
2010.
So this is 2010. Mm-hmm. So we're in 2010.
2010 and 2011.
2011. This is when these are the blogs, Media Takeout. All these companies are big at this point. So I think even at that point I started my own company. So I definitely remember that 2012 I started my own website and company and everything else. So I know it by that time it was starting to really kick off.
Right.
Around that time. What gave you the inspiration to say that we're going to start a website?
I just knew maybe that way, by writing stories, by creating content, I can help uplift and elevate and show people that, hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, maybe it can inspire someone to chase after their dreams and go for what it is that they want to go for in life. And I started doing research. I was like, you know what? I want to support my ladies. I want to, I want to start this women empowerment movement. But I didn't really have a start. I knew I wanted to start this website. I've never blogged before. I've never written before. Actually, I'm the worst writer ever.
I don't think you could be. Listen, I'm dyslexic, so I know I'm bad. I used to write stuff. I publish it.
Yeah.
And then I would get back from the people like, yo, man, there's mad grammatical errors.
I know. It's just so crazy. I would have anxiety.
Yes.
Anxiety writing.
Yes,
I'm like,
Lord.
Oh my God, this person's reading my
it's
content.
so true.
What is going on in their head right now?
Yes.
What are they saying?
Yeah.
You know? And I had my sister's close friend. His name is Blue. Mm-hmm. He was actually working for DJ Enough at the time.
Okay.
And he was running Enough's website that was called that'senough.com. And at the time, they were highlighting everything in hip hop, sneakers. They were doing everything except for celebrity news. And he asked her for some help. And my sister was like, blogging, that's not my forte. My sister loves to cook and stuff. So she was like, that's not what I'm trying to get into. I was like, but my sister was talking about launching a website. Maybe this would be a great
look for you.
Great look, you know, for the both of you. Maybe you guys can work together. And I think he kind of brushed it off, but she told me about it, and I was like, you know what, let me hit him up. I hit him up, I asked him what was happening, what was going on, and he told me about it, and then he said he would get back to me. And then, so I decided to just write my own stories. I was, at that time, it was the incident with Evelyn Lozada and Chad. So,
the headbutting issue.
Yeah, yes. So that was my first story.
What?
I wrote it up.
I remember that clear as day.
I know, it was so crazy.
Yeah.
And I sent it to him. He was like, "Did you write that?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "All right." So he started posting it, and he would give me credit at the bottom, written by Marie David, and I would just send him stories. And one day Enough was like, who's writing these? Because we're getting traffic.
Right.
And he was like, just give her a username and password. Bring her on.
Word.
So I didn't even interview for the position. I've never even met Enough of never met him before.
Right.
And here I am writing for this man, you know? So
it goes to show that if you have to step out and just take a risk and just go for it. If you never go for it, you're never going to get anywhere.
You're never going to get it. This story, it amazes me to this day. Every time I go back and I think about it, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, had I just said, whatever, let me just figure this out on my own, I probably wouldn't even be where I'm at today. No. It was that me just taking the initiative to say, you know what, let me send Blue these stories and let him think, let him read it, and then he could do whatever he want with these stories.
Yes.
And that's how it happened, and I'm here where I'm at today now.
You made it. You made that happen for yourself at a young age, and that takes balls. Because most people don't do that. Most people are like, nah, I'm not gonna pander to this person. I'm not gonna send them nothing. They're not gonna get my creative vision. You just said, nah, screw it, man. I got this one chance to make this happen. Let me just send this stuff out. And if it works, it works. If it don't, I keep moving.
And again, let me emphasize on how I'm not the best writer out there.
Right.
So I was really, really scared, but I took the chance.
Right.
I took the chance. And when you're writing often, you get better and better. You know,
If anything, repetition breeds success.
I remember my first post, and it had a lot of grammatical errors. And somebody was like, "Yo, who wrote this? What the f?"
What, in the comments?
In the comments,
Oh,
and I was
don't read the comments,
embarrassed.
man.
I was so embarrassed. But then I realized, going back, reading CNN and Huffington Post and all these other. They make mistakes too.
All the time. All the time.
But the thing is, you know, if you make a mistake, someone points it out. You don't have to have anxiety about it. Maybe the first couple of times, but then you learn that I could just go back, fix it, and just hit publish again.
I think
that's it. It's that simple, and you can go on with your life and not have to stress about that one comment.
I think I had to learn that in everything in my life.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like so scared to do anything because I'm like, damn, if I mess this up, I only get one shot of it. No, you don't. You just go back and edit. It's this magical word. It's called edit. It exists in so many places. Just go back and do it. Now, you get this opportunity. Circa what? This is junior, senior year. I'm guessing at this point, or just after.
This is junior year.
Junior year.
I get this opportunity, so I'm writing for DJ Enough, and then I was like, oh. Okay, I'm writing these stories.
Slightly feeling yourself.
I'm feeling myself. I'm like, I could do this.
Yeah.
That was the push I needed to start my website.
Right.
I was brainstorming, trying to figure it out. I was like, okay, let me start writing for Enough. And then I was like, oh, I could do this. So I was like, that was the push I needed.
Right.
And I was like, let me launch my website.
Nice.
And 6 months later, I launched my website, April 7th, 2013.
Nice.
And it was right before I graduated from William Patterson University. So I got my degree in psychology. It was towards the end. And I was like, should I stay an extra year maybe, and dabble in this whole communication thing?
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be out.
Let me go run this marathon. I don't give a damn.
I'm going to figure it out along the way.
No worries. No worries. I got this, people. So you jump into new media. Because it is new media at this point. Because the internet still is to this day the wild, wild west. Because there's still so much that's out there that people have not really grasped.
Yeah.
Now you jump into this new media platform. You started your website and everything. How was it starting something like that in a place where most people had no idea how to really run things? This is like there's no blueprint to how to do this.
There's no blueprint.
And you're fairly young. You're just out of school and you're running with this. How did that go for you? That whole mentality of now I kind of move like a boss straight out the box.
It was a scary feeling. I'm not gonna lie, because days leading up to my launch party, I had severe anxiety. Like, Mom,
I would think so.
Where I couldn't, because I'm like, what am I doing? Who's gonna read my stuff? Ooh. Who's gonna, I was thinking all these things, but I didn't let it stop me, and that's what I admire about myself sometimes. Although I'm scared as fuck, I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm going to push through regardless.
Right.
And I know
if you guys could see the seriousness when she says that in her eyes, it communicates 100. Go ahead.
And I know the end goal. Like, I know at the end of the day, once I push through it, that the results are going to be remarkable. And that's what happened the day of my launch party. I had 150 people show up. People that I've never even met before, they were excited about the movement. Because at the time, the name of the web, it was called Lady Sav, and our slogan was "A Lady Who Knows."
Right.
And so we had the whole Lady Sav girl movement going on. So people were coming up to me like, "I want to be a Lady Sav girl. What is that? It sounds intriguing. Like, what? I want to be a part of the movement." I'm like, really? Okay, this is cool. So, it was exciting. It was really exciting for me.
Did you find yourself becoming, because there's levels of celebrity. There's like hood celebrity, like state celebrity, like he's a big deal here in this part of the state or whatever. But then there's like celebrity. Do you find like people noticing you a little bit more than you were used to? And how did that go for you? Like, oh, wait a minute, you people know who I am? Like, I was. Maybe 150 people was nothing to snooze at. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And people know, but at that time, was your face attached to the website at that point? I remember it being a big deal.
Well, what I did, I was trying to figure out ways that I can market this.
Right.
So I reached out to 15 women that inspire me, whether it was through college, whether it was high school, co-workers.
You were big on the women empowerment movement way earlier than what it is right now. Like, I think a lot of people are just waking up to it right now, and as they say, you've been woke, as they say.
There's nothing like being around a group of women. The women in my life, whether it's my peers, my colleagues, sister, friends, best friends, they inspire me in ways without them, I wouldn't even be who I am. You know,
I see the sincerity.
And so the whole women empowerment thing, I mean, it's nothing like talking to your sister. It's nothing like getting advice from someone who's seasoned and who's been in the game, and they're telling you, hey, you know, everything's going to be okay. It feels good.
Yes, it does.
It gives you the motivation that you need.
You need the sisterhood. Push through it. The sisterhood is important. Sisterhood is important.
And for me, that's the message that I was trying to convey at the time. And so we started this whole photo shoot. I got the shirts made with the Lady Sav in the front.
Thinking back, which platform were you pitching? You're pushing on a lot. You were pushing on your Instagram at that time.
On my page.
Yeah, I remember
this. And
I
started our Instagram page, and I was just following all of my friends and all of my sister's friends and all of my sister's friends. Like, that's how I was doing it.
You were guerrilla style.
And I figured this out. I was like, if I get the girls, and they're going to be excited, it's a photo shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting glammed up. I put together a photo team.
Ladies love photo shoots when they can get get pretty.
Promoting on their page, so they have followers. So it was just like everyone is just looking like, what's going on? What is this? What is this that
you put that out into the ether, and you just
Beatrice is doing?
Yeah.
Whose movement is that? You know, like what's going on?
Yeah.
People thought it was a hair company.
What
the thing was, it was just the fact that people were just asking. They were intrigued. They wanted to know, what is this whole Lady Sav thing? What was happening?
Right.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted a conversation. I wanted people to ask. I wanted people to be intrigued.
I can feel the excitement off you now.
Yeah. I was excited.
Yeah. If you're on level 8 right here, I can imagine what level 10, 12 must have been like. Oh my God.
I was excited.
Yeah. But that's important. That's important you're excited, because that's a milestone in your life.
Yeah.
It's a milestone in your life. So you're moving on the web. You graduated from school. So your peoples must be somewhat happy with you at this point. You've graduated from college. To them, that's important. You know what I mean? With any family, that's important. But you're moving in this direction. What was life like for you at that stage for you? Like, surrounding wise, personal life, how are you moving at that stage?
A lot of sacrifices. While, you know, things were happening for me with my brand, I also had to cut back, you know, on shopping.
Well, yeah.
Cutting back on all the things that I used to do, shopping, hair, all this extra stuff, because now I'm investing this money in advertising dollars. You know, I'm putting money aside because I want to put together women empowerment events. And I couldn't do both. It was either one or the other. And my brand was, you know, it's something that I love. It's my baby, and I want it to grow. So I was willing to make that sacrifice. Gave up my car. You know, I cut back on, you know, even with my jobs, I had to cut back on different, you know, jobs, so that way I can find something that would match, or that would make sense with my schedule, with the whole blogging thing, you know, because you have to blog every day, and you have to make time for it.
That is one stressful thing. It's like, I give people credit who do it every day.
Yeah.
And they do it by themselves. But now I see people doing vlogging and making videos every day. I mean, you can do them in maybe shit quality, but if you want to get a certain level of quality and certain level of like prestige on what you're doing, you have to invest in a load of time.
Yeah,
everything is 2 hours, 2 hours
or more. And if you're vlogging, I mean, that's even more impressive, because you're editing.
Yeah. You're
editing your content, and that takes hours.
Yes, it does. I know for a fact it takes hours, because I did it myself. So it is not a joke. So you're sacrificing. You're doing a lot at this point, because you got your brand. You're growing your brand. You're sacrificing a lot to do this at this point. Yeah. Tell me about the pressure that you were feeling.
It was a lot of pressure, also sadness, because I like to go out. I like to have a good time with my friends, and because I'm cutting back now, I can't go out with my friends.
Right,
You know,
right,
I
right.
can't do certain things. I can't be at the birthday party, or I can't be at this family function. And if you're not in this industry, sometimes
Yeah. People don't hear. People
people
don't.
don't understand.
Yeah, no, they don't get
so
that.
it comes off like you just don't care. You
But that's
just
where the
don't
term
wanna be a
Hollywood
part.
came from.
Yeah,
You became
you know.
Hollywood because you didn't want to be there. No, I wanted to be there. I just couldn't afford it, my guy.
I couldn't afford
Yeah.
it, you know, and it just that hurt my feelings too because
Yeah.
I'm like, if you know me, you know that I want to be there. I want to be there to support, but I can't,
Yeah.
you know. And if I tell you financially, you know, I'm going through some things. People just don't understand.
People don't get that. People don't want to get
They
that.
don't
People,
understand.
people expect that if they see you on the gram being successful, or you in the gram living your life, your best life, you're supposed to be living your best life, and you're supposed to make whatever they got going on because they're priority.
Yeah.
People don't understand because they don't do it themselves. Until you do it yourself, you get it. But it's hard to tell, and I don't mean this. I say this like this, but it's hard to tell a civilian about the industry when you're not in the industry.
Yeah.
Because you just till you're in it, you just don't get it.
Because and another thing too, especially for someone who's working a 9 to 5, you're working a 9 to 5, and then you get off, and it's just like, okay, I could go home, I can go have dinner with my friend, or I could be working on what I need to work on.
Right.
I could be. Those are blogging hours.
Yep.
Or those, you know, this could be me editing something right now. Next thing you know, it's time to go to bed, and you're doing it all over again. You know,
Yeah.
that's the grind.
Your life is on repeat.
Your
quite
life is
often.
literally on repeat, and those are the sacrifices.
Right. Now, you're doing Lady Style. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
And you're recruiting. You're bringing on people. You're working with them. You guys are working as a unit for the most part. How was that managing not just yourself but other people?
I didn't know what I was doing, Brian. And I'm gonna keep it 100.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, let me bring people on the team. I had people reach out to me and say, hey, oh my God, I love what you're doing. I want to be a part of it. I want to blog.
Yeah.
This is what I want to write about. But the thing is, blogging every day, that again, it's a sacrifice,
Right.
And it's something that you have to be consistent. Either you love to write, and you can see yourself doing it every day, or you don't. And blogging can be draining.
Yes, it is.
And so
Trying to, especially if you're a blog that's you're staying active within a time. You're not a blog that's specific to one thing.
Yeah.
You're staying active on what's going on actively.
yeah,
The amount of information that goes through people's daily feed, and you're competing with all that, and you're trying to put together quality work so you can continue to compete, can be nerve-wracking as hell. I tried many times to try to figure out how to do that by myself, and it was the most nerve-wracking thing I think I've ever been through because you're still trying to figure out the matrix.
yeah. And it's a lot to learn.
There's a lot to learn, and your learning curve is different because there is no book for this.
Right.
Except for maybe Gary Vee's book, but Gary Vee's not telling you how to blog. He's just telling you how to market yourself.
Right.
Okay, so...
Because here's the thing, too. You know, you have this passion, like,
Yeah.
you know, you're podcasting.
Yes.
Now that once your business begins to grow, you have to grow with the business.
Yes.
You know, learning about advertising, learning about how to market yourself, looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
How can you, you know, make this podcast better than the last one?
Right.
So it's a lot.
Yeah. Trying to
Because
get people
what you
to...
want to do is just focus on the talent,
Right.
but now you're wearing many hats. You're, you know, you're
Marketing.
the host of your show. You're marketing. You're, you know, you're out there promoting.
Right.
You wear many hats.
Yeah.
and it's a lot.
And you're
keep
also
up with.
you're the one keeping. You don't have an assistant, so you're keeping up with your schedule. Plus, you're working,
And you're working.
and it's a lot of like, okay, do I have to figure this out? Okay, let me stop and do this. Okay, I'm behind on my work here. Okay, I got to reschedule this.
Right.
I'm guessing what I'm saying here about what I'm going through was very similar to what you were going through at that time.
And at one point, it got very overwhelming. It was a lot of pressure.
Right.
I mean, people reaching out to me saying, hey, I want to be interviewed. I want to, you know, I need you to cover this event. I need you to do that. And then I'm trying to keep up with 10 plus bloggers, and I'm sending them out to cover events. And I was like,
And you're managing their attitudes, their feelings, their thoughts.
yeah. And at the same time, I think what the guilt for me, I was trying to figure out what can I do to push them or to compensate them because financially I don't have it.
Right.
You know, so I was, and to
Did
me,
the
I just
psychology
felt
parts that you learned in college help you a little bit understand people a little better, or was it didn't even play a role really?
that didn't even play a role at the time because I was just thinking, how can I repay this person? I mean, this person is taking time out of their schedule to help
When you don't have
elevate
funding,
my brand.
right? Did you ever think about approaching investors? Like maybe get one or two investors, but you know when you do that, it's kind of like you're signing away a piece of your creative control. Did that ever cross your mind?
I've thought about it. To be honest with you, I just didn't know where to go,
Yeah.
who to talk to.
Right.
Where do I even begin? You know,
It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. Like I'm
not.
I'm out here. I can when I did Circles of Success years ago, I lost focus because I was trying to wear too many hats.
Yeah.
And like you, it was a lot of hats I was trying to wear. And then I had thoughts about I was trying to do YouTube video interviews for the site and everything. And I was getting my man to do it. And he was trying to figure out what he was going to do for himself. So he couldn't just be there and do what I needed him to do for free. And I had no money to pay him. The one thing I did learn is in the industry at the bottom level, you're in a barter system.
Yeah. All you have is your talent.
All I have is my talent. I can do this for you, and you can do this for me. As I start this photography business, it's much the same. You know, people say don't do work for free, but if that door ain't nobody knocking at your door ain't red hot, bro, you're gonna be doing some work for free because ain't nobody trying to pay you to do this yet. Until you show them you can do it, and then maybe they'll pay you, but you ain't getting paid like this guy over here who's been doing it 10 years and he has XYZ rack of clients, you know? So I learned that you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Now, as you go through this situation, I'm guessing you were roughly, about 25 almost at this point?
Yeah, 26, 25, 26, yeah.
25, 26. And you're moving in this situation. When did things begin to come to a head for you? Like, all right, this might not be everything is working out. Like, it's beginning to be a thing at this point.
I think as for me, I don't know where these insecurities came in, but I started doing interviews. I started working the red carpet. And I think it was being in the camera and having to be on social media and people's just saying different things.
But you have like this natural energy about you that is just, it's like, I can't lie, it's like very cool. Like it's very cool vibe you get from you. It's not nothing like, yo.
Right. Like, I don't know where the insecurities came from, but then, you know, there was other personal issues that I was battling myself. I've been through a lot in my childhood. And I think those triggers, instead of learning how to deal with my insecurities, I think it triggered other emotions in me that I didn't know existed. And so I find myself in this dark place.
Yes.
So the blogging kind of stopped. I'm still doing, you know, I'm still in media and I'm still doing, but the very thing that I'm passionate about, I kind of just fell back a little bit, so that way I can work on myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you falling back, that I'm guessing career-wise, how did your career was going in media? You were working, right?
Yes. How long I've been at MS for about 2 years now. 2 years,
okay.
Yeah.
How'd you find your way into this side of the media?
You know what's crazy? I had a good friend of mine. She also worked at MS Communication, and you know, one of the positions was open for a digital producer, and so she was like, you know, this could be a good look for you. Her name is Alicia. And so I took the opportunity. I submitted my resume, and I think what's crazy, it wasn't the fact that I was writing for DJ enough or anything like that. It was the fact that I started my own website, and what I was doing with my website, they were
Right.
very impressed by, and they loved it.
Yes.
And they brought me on, so it was, it wasn't
that's dope.
even
That's dope.
the experience with DJ enough because I'm
Yeah.
already in there, but it was just like, oh my, you started your own website, this is what you're writing
That's
about, this is what
impressive.
and they were impressed, and that's how I got in. So
Major facts.
yeah, super grateful for that.
Yeah. And when you came to the so forgive me if it will. You came to a this is a corporate media company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you come from freelancing.
Yeah.
To put it in lack of a better term, I should say. What in this sense was a transition from this to this corporate landscape of media that you noticed the most of?
Oh man.
I know it's a little complicated question, but I figured, anyone to give a good perspective on what it's like to go from one end to the other, and would be you.
The thing is with corporate, with freelancing, you're doing what you love.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And then with the corporate, you're doing what you love, but now it's a numbers game. It's all about the numbers.
Click
it's
time.
all about the dollars. It's because the click equals
the dollars. Yes.
And so your focus is not just, let me write about this, but if I write about this, is it going to get me the traffic that I need in order to make this certain amount? Like that's how it is. So now, it gets a little more interesting. Little complicated, because you're always, because it's just, you have to think twice now about posting. You can post it, but how beneficial will it be to the company?
Right.
This is cool. It's great. Everybody is posting about it, but how will this content here benefit the company?
Wow.
So I'm not thinking about myself anymore. I'm thinking about making the company money.
Do you ever get assignments that come across your desk and you're just like,
yeah,
I
absolutely
don't want to do this.
Not that I don't want to do it. It's just
it's just a little bit like.
It's a little,
you just side-eyed it. Just give it a little bit of a side-eye.
I think the transition with hip-hop, a lot has changed. So I'm slowly learning this whole new
You don't want to write about Little
rap.
Pump? Why don't you write a Little Pump? Talk about Little Pump, man.
That means I got to listen to it, and it's just like...
Yeah, man, Little Baby. Come on, chill. That's the new Jeezy. You don't know that?
So I have to be open to it. And I have to constantly know what's going on. And sometimes the information is a lot to take in sometimes, And
how do you feel about the status of media and levels of social media to you right now? Do you think it's like at an all-time high?
It's at an all-time high. I think right now, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a creative individual, now is the time. It's hot. Now is the time
to go all in, right?
To go all in.
Listen, I just downloaded crazy as hell. I downloaded an app that grades your hashtags.
Wow.
Because I'm taking this 100% serious about my hashtags. I realize how important these things are. People don't want to put hashtags on stuff, and you can do that. Hey, if you got 14,000 followers and they're actually real followers and not a bot, go ahead. You don't need it. But listen, if you really want to get some real clicks, you want to get some people that are really checking your stuff out, you might want to invest in something that's going to actually help you, like know your social media, know your grades, know what you're doing.
The hashtag just opens it up to the mass.
Yeah,
Without the hashtag, it's just your followers seeing it. But with the hashtag, someone in Australia that loves the whole, women empowerment and what that hashtag, they'll be able to see your content. So.
It's crazy. I get a lot of I got a lot of followers in Australia and in the UK by using hashtags on this podcast, and people will just like following it and going to it. I want to expand onto YouTube and other platforms, but it's very difficult to do this, catch this intimacy without you focusing and looking at that camera and you're scared.
Yeah.
I can get this all day long and I get a higher quality interview than I can. And even your man Gary Vee, who I'm looking at his book right now, and he stated that right now we're in an age where voice is important because Alexa voice, Google voice, these things are important. So I'm kind of pushing towards that right now. Now, what platforms do you say that right now that if someone told you they needed you to, you know who Karen Civil is?
Yes.
If someone wanted you to move, if you were going to move in that lane, what social media platform do you think you're most equipped to handle and take over for someone?
I would say Instagram and Facebook. Twitter, I don't know. I used to be a heavy. I used to tweet a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
but now I don't know.
I don't touch Twitter anymore like that. I
don't really
post.
touch it, but Twitter, it's I mean,
It's coming back like a motherfucker.
no, it was always there.
It was?
It's just the interest just died down for it. We just, not interested, but Twitter is where it's at.
Yo, it's crazy. I can't
So
be on there looking at people's thoughts all day. It would drive me nuts.
it's not just thoughts. It's stuff happening in media.
Yeah.
It's news, politics.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot happening on Twitter.
It's like an extreme stream of just information. It's a matrix. You're basically looking at, like someone who writes code is looking at code. You're hacking the code of the world at that point.
Yeah.
I'm hesitant to go back to that because I remember Twitter was like something that I was on all the time. And then I'm posting and stuff, and I used to be Mr. Quote Man all the time, posting quotes all the time. Now to go back to that just to search out things, it makes me nervous because I'm like, I don't have enough time to invest in that as much as time as I like investing on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Like I find myself loving Instagram a lot more. Facebook too, like I could try to work a Facebook group, but I don't know. It's just not. I just don't. Like I have a friend of mine. He was on a podcast. His name is Deuce. Shout out to Deuce. And he was like, "Bro, I try to use my Instagram like that, but I get way more response from my Facebook group than anything else. You're gonna get a lot more clicks on my Facebook group than you're ever gonna get on your Instagram."
Mm-hmm.
And to me, Facebook was like a dinosaur for years. After I found Instagram, I really stopped concentrating on Facebook because Instagram was just a lot better place for me. Because I'm more visual than I am. I want to sit there and read something. But every once in a while, if I want to express myself, I go ham.
Yeah.
But I think Facebook is really dope. How do you feel about live streaming and the like, I guess Snapchat and places like that? How do you feel about that in the new media?
I think video is where it's at right now. I mean, I think that instant gratification, people are not reading like how they used to anymore. Not that I'm saying that is dying down, but a lot of people are more visual now. So,
do you find that scary?
A little bit. But the videos, people are, especially on Facebook, I mean, people are sharing these videos.
Yes.
You post something.
Yes.
I did a post yesterday on this guy who paid tribute to Luther Vandross, and he performed one of his classics, Wait for Love, and he sounded just like him. And the video I came across, it was at 2 million views because people were just so amazed, so they keep sharing it sharing it. And now this man is an overnight celebrity because now people are reaching out to him and booking him for weddings.
That's wild.
It's so crazy because he just did he was just singing, I think, at a cookout. He was just sitting there singing, and someone just pulled the camera out and was like, "Yo, let me record this."
I would never think that.
Yeah,
yo.
and that video,
Yeah.
it starts off with the lady sneaking, recording it, and it's her feet.
Oh, wow.
And then it goes up to him singing. That was at 2 million views. And now he's going to start making money now as an influencer, because people are going to be reaching out to him to cover events.
Would you pay for an influencer for a campaign that you were running?
Absolutely.
Right now? Okay.
Absolutely.
Me too. I would definitely pay. I would pay a YouTube influencer.
Absolutely.
Personally.
Any social media influencer, someone that, because people are not paying attention to just celebrities anymore.
No, they're not.
It's a platform. Anybody now can be a celebrity.
I realize now there's Instagram.
If you have talent or you have something you're trying to get out there, there's the platform. I mean, there's pros and cons when it comes to social media. But again, if you're a creative or if you're someone that's passionate about, I don't know, fashion, love,
fashion
health,
is big
fitness,
these days, man.
Do your thing. I mean, there's a platform out there for everybody.
So, all right. So we've been talking about this social media. We're talking about this new media. We're getting advice from you on what we should do. And let me ask you this. What's going on with you right now and where we're moving to? Because obviously you slowed down with what you were doing before. So we're moving into a new era in 2018.
Yeah.
Where do you see your business, what you're trying to do? Where are we at in your eyes?
Well, earlier this year, I relaunched my website.
Nice.
It's called theladyWhoKnows.com. And I had to make some changes because I'm starting off with just me writing at the moment. But we focus on celebrity news, positive. We stay more on the positive. We're not talking about who's sleeping with who, but more, more uplifting, more.
I see Nicole Bitchie kind of made the same kind of transition.
Yeah, and we're also covering like love, relationships, health.
Right.
I had this feature last month where I highlight a woman each month from their different, perspective fields, whatever the case may be. And I just want young women, or just women in general, to hear the story and to be inspired and be uplifted. So that's what I'm currently working on right now. I don't know how I want to do it just yet, but I'm working on that. I also have a podcast that I'm working on. This one is going to focus on...
yes, come to the dark side.
The first season is going to focus on mental health.
All right, good.
Because, again, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I am I've been sexually abused when I was a little kid. Right. And so I kind of shared my story on Instagram, and I want to continue sharing my story for...
We're in an age where there's a lot of people trying to make a connection with that right now. Like, I think a lot of people, they lived in a closet, so to speak, for a long time because whenever someone goes through some type of abuse or goes through anything of extreme in their lives where they were felt unempowered and someone took power over them, they isolate themselves. Yeah. From what I've been able to notice.
Or they isolate themselves and they feel lonely because they feel like they're the only one at the time that's going through what they're going through. And
hence the push on the Me Too situation, I guess.
Right. And you're not the only one.
Right. And I think
when you share your story, you show others that, look, you're not the only one going through what you're going through.
I think it's really important. I think it's highly important for African American sisters or people, minorities in general, to speak about these things.
Absolutely.
Because whether it's your drunk uncle who, he's just drunk, don't mind him, or your crazy cousin or aunt or somebody who did something to you, and because you don't want to talk about it because, your family just brushes it off as, that's just them being whatever. It's not right. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of sisters and brothers need to talk about these things because it's I don't want to say it's accepted in the black home because obviously it's not accepted, but it is brushed upon back in the day a lot more than what people want to talk about. Yeah. And I think that we are getting to a point now where what was once in the dark will now be in the light.
Absolutely.
And it's going to come out. Whether you guys want to hide it, you can't hide it forever.
You can't.
It's got to come out because then...
And the more people that come out and they speak on it,
yes,
I think will raise awareness. Mm-hmm. And we'll start to see a change. I think people will start to see, hey, if I do this, there's some serious repercussions.
Yes, there is, man.
And for the ones that have come forward, they can now cope.
Yes.
Because when you talk about it, that's the first step.
You have a lot of angry people in any culture, but especially in the West Indian and Black culture. A lot of people are angry in senses of, like, they just don't know how to deal with their feelings. Mm-hmm. From PTSD, because it's definitely something real going on, and they're just paranoid. And they don't know they don't want to, because it's like the stigma on you if you go to therapy. If you go to, you go talk to someone every week. Listen, man, there's nothing wrong with going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with going out and seeking help. I think we're in a community where everyone thinks they can just go pray it away or go to this person and talk to this person for a little while. Listen, your friends are not, most of your friends are not certified psychologists.
It's not that, but then they're not, but then they also don't know what to say to you when you're going through what you're going through. Because they've never dealt with that before. Right. Or they've never heard, so what can they say to you?
Exactly.
And, they can tell you everything's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. But that's not what you need to hear to help you get through what you're going through. I mean, I highly recommend. I started therapy myself, and I've been going every week. And let me tell you something. It's my first experience. I was like, man, who is this guy? Like, why is he talking to me like this? I felt like he straight pulled the covers off of me, and I felt naked. You know,
Yeah.
therapy is not easy, but it helps you to confront what you're scared to confront.
I think it's so important.
It brings the truth to light.
Yes, it
and
does.
you have some serious thinking to do about what you've been through, and you know you have to figure out now how you're going to move forward.
Right.
And there's only a licensed therapist that can help you get through that.
Yeah. I've definitely thought about going to therapy myself recently because I've been dealing with my own stuff, and I just like sometimes you if you get to a certain point in your life and you felt like you achieved, but then there's always another scale to achieve. You got your own place? Cool. So what? You got your own car? Cool. So what? You got this? So what? There's always someone saying, I got more than you.
Right.
And as a man, because you're always put in the light of being the provider and being the person who's in charge, you always feel like you have to get past that point in your life where you're always feeling like you're not good enough or you haven't done enough. And a lot of brothers, they're not willing to admit that. This is why we need the fastest car, the biggest chain. We need to throw stacks of money. Why every rap video, every rap song you hear about is how much we've done. Right. Because all we're trying to do is avoid that loser stigma. And it stems from high school and it continues on throughout your life.
It does.
And I think it's for sisters too. For sisters too. Sisters don't want to be the girl who never gets her hair done and her hair is kinked up, messed up to the point where she can't get her hair done. Her nails are chippy. You know what I'm saying? And she's walking out in 511s and it's just tore up. Sisters don't want to be that. No. They don't want to be that. They want to have Gucci shoes on.
Well, there's a lot of pressure too, especially with social media, because they want you to look a certain way. If you don't look that way, you know, you're not considered beautiful, or you know, or if your body's not shaped that way. Right. You know, you're just not attractive, and that's not the case. You know, along with therapy, I think self-care is also very important.
Yes.
Just making time for yourself. I know we get so caught up with work. I know for myself, I'm very guilty of that, where I just feel like I need to work, and I don't deserve a day. Or I don't deserve, you know, a day to treat myself. You know, no, you do deserve that.
You do. I think every woman deserves that. You know what I mean?
Human.
Period. You deserve a moment. You deserve a moment.
A day to just stay in bed and just relax. Or, you know, go do something that you enjoy doing to get your mind off of things. And also, you know, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you know, or if you're someone that's creative, the only way you can do the work is if you're still, you know, so that way you allow your mind to just like think. You know, you need to be still sometimes. So you have to make that day for yourself, some time for yourself.
When you get into, my best advice for anyone who's getting into a creative space, you need to turn off the TV, turn off the cell phone, and tune out for a while. A day, you don't even need a day, maybe an hour a day. You just need a day where you just need time to close your eyes, visualize what you're trying to do, break from the cycle, because there's hundreds of things getting thrown at you at your phone. And these days we got ads that somehow show up after you Google something.
Or you think it.
It shows up, which is wild. And you just need time and need space. So I always say, people, when you're in your creative space, find the creative space. And if you need to go see a psychologist, I suggest you go do that.
Absolutely.
Therapy helps.
And I agree with you with, you know, turning the phone on, because I know with social media, we're in and out of different apps. You're on Facebook for a little bit, you're on Instagram, then you're on Twitter, then you're on all these different apps. And it's just, I don't know, especially with me now that I'm getting older, I feel like time is already passing me by. Time is already moving so fast. So it's like, I got to put the phone down so I can enjoy, like live in the moment for a little bit.
Right.
You know, like you have to.
I recently had to turn back on my notifications from Instagram. I turned it off for a long time because I don't know when I'm going to get a DM or I'm going to get somebody hitting me up in the comments talking about, hey, you shoot, can you shoot this? Can you, like, I can't miss that anymore. So I can't afford to have my notifications turned off anymore.
Right.
It drives me crazy because now I'm looking at my phone and I'm just like, oh, great, I You don't want to go
No,
in.
you can, and then the thing, you can have your notifications, like you can go on Instagram every day, but there are days where you find yourself on there for like over an hour. You that's the thing.
That's
it's
scary.
like you go on, you look at what you like, and then you put the phone down
Yeah.
and you go on about your day.
Right.
You can go on Instagram for 15 minutes again tomorrow. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Instead of being on your phone for hours.
Listen,
Just scrolling and time is passing you by.
I watched people sit on their phone for an entire movie. That's 2 hours, people.
All right, at my side job, I work as a server, and I also bartend, and I've watched couples come and sit down at the restaurant and not have a conversation, not even look at each other
That's crazy.
until the food comes. But even when the food comes, they're still on their phones.
Listen, I know it's hard to separate yourself, especially these days, especially around election time, and people were in. I remember there was so many groups and people get in the comments like, "Stay your behind out of the shade room," because you get caught in the shade room and people get commenting, and it gets crazy.
For me, it's very hard because, with me working as a digital producer, I'm always on my phone.
Yeah, because you have to be. That's your business.
Always on my phone, and it's just like, oh my God, I'm always on social media because I have to know what's happening. I need to be, post stuff, and it's just like,
I think that
I just need a break.
And I need a break, and I think that also attributes to people needing to go talk to someone after a while.
Yeah.
Because whether you believe it or not, it's psychologically, it messes with you. Because you think you need the new sneakers. You think you need to be wearing a fanny pack across your chest to be down with the kids. For God's sakes, that's the new thing. And I'm just like, I'm not saying that for myself, but I'm just saying in general, I just see people doing whatever's hot to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And it's just, it blows my mind how people get caught up in that. And I used to be on social media a lot, and I began to see things, and I began to see, even in my own life, me developing a deep insecurity. You know what I mean? For me, not having the same things as everybody else, like I was harking before. But what I did understand is, a friend of mine told me, "I'm gonna challenge you right now. I'll give you $50 at the end of the month if you can stay on social media for a month." Now, this is when everyone is on it. Circa, I want to say 2014, 15, when this is happening. So I did it. Then it was the most surreal moment because I was so unplugged from what was going on in the rest of the world. I didn't get none of my news. All my news came from whatever was on television. I didn't know nothing else. And I didn't know about anybody's families, cars, nothing. And I never unplugged before. It was crazy. It was like surreal. It was like a moment where you're just like, you felt detached from the world.
Yeah.
But you felt healthier mentally than you had ever felt before.
All this information that we're retaining, you know, it's like celebrity news. You know what's going on with your friend's uncle, and it's just so much happening.
Yes, it is.
You just need a break. You just need to detach for a little bit. I'm not saying to delete your app or anything like that, but maybe an hour the most a day. And even that is too much, but just try not to, just try to make time for other things.
I think
you got going on in your life.
If you're
go for a walk.
Yes,
I think get some ice cream or something.
I think especially if you're an entrepreneur, I think an hour a day is the max for you. I think at that point you can get all your stuff done for that hour, and then that's it. You got to be disciplined. It's hard because now, this girl Lainey just posted something about she's going to do some shit. And now you want to get into it, and now they, and you got opinions on it, and that never ends. That's why I stopped commenting on people's stuff on Facebook, because at one point you got notifications every time someone commented, and it got to be too much. Like I got 50 comments on one post that all I did was say hi.
Right.
And you're just like, nah, man, I can't. I don't want to reply to every freaking thing or notified about every freaking thing.
Right.
So even now, I keep Facebook notifications off my phone. I don't want to touch that. Instagram is enough. Facebook is just too much. And I never got into Snapchat. So in Twitter, I barely use that. But what I'm saying is, like you said, it's important to detox.
Exactly.
And pull away and pull away. So I definitely agree with you on that. It's a major thing. So we're here.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
When did you start to understand that this media game is going to be where it is right now. Then you started thinking it was going to be as big as it was. And what advice would you give to someone now who's starting out? What advice would you give them?
My advice. Oh, man. Well, social media is always evolving, is always growing. For someone that's just starting out, I would say focus on what it is that you're looking to do. If it's fitness, you want to do radio, whatever it is, focus on a talent. Focus on the content that you're trying to create. Don't worry about how many followers you have. Don't worry about who's watching, who's not watching. Because when you first start off, let's say, you start off with that page and you get 10 followers and you get 1 like. That might happen for a month,
Yeah, you might eat that.
It'll suck.
Yes, it does.
And you could let it mess up with your insecurities and your self-esteem, or you can continue to push through and not worry about it, because with consistency builds, that would help build your audience. It'll help build your following. But for right now, I wouldn't even focus on that. Focus on the content that you're trying to put out there. And as the business begins to grow, then you can start looking into like the logistics and social media and analytics and what I need to do to help improve my social media. But for now,
so when we
focus on your content.
When we get in this book, man?
When we get in this book?
Because I'm telling you right now, you're going to be doing some speaking engagements and doing some book stuff soon enough. I guarantee it.
I mean, this is a start. I was always afraid to speak. So, I mean, again, I'm pushing through, and I want to get past that fear one day where I can speak to, I don't know.
You want to speak to an auditorium full of people.
Auditorium full of people.
Yeah, yes, yes.
So.
That'll come.
Yeah.
All right, so we here. All right, well, I want to say thank you for coming on, first and foremost. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming on and doing this. I know you got lots of things going on, and for you to give me a few hours of your time is important. So tell the people where they can find you and what do they have to look forward to. Yes.
Ryan, again, thank you so much for even having me on the platform.
Appreciate it.
Again, what you're doing is amazing, and I want you to continue to push through.
Thank you.
I can't wait to hear who else you bring on this amazing platform. For right now, I have my podcast that I'm working on. Again, I mentioned earlier, it's going to be focusing on mental health. So I have that on the way.
We're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're going to look off air.
Yeah. And a few events happening. And again, I'm just working on my website. I'm pushing it, trying to build an audience. And it's called aladyWhoKnows.com, www.aladyWhoKnows.com, where all things women, empowerment. And you can follow me _Marie David on Instagram, Twitter. Facebook, Marie David, and my brand, A Lady Who Knows, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So there you have it, people. I just had the honor of dealing with this beautiful woman and doing all this work right here that we just did and talk about everything. I just want to say thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. And I want to say, man, if you are in a place where you need to talk to somebody, go out there and go talk to somebody who can actually really help you. Don't be afraid to do it.
Get that therapy.
Yes.
It's worth it.
Otherwise, listen, catch me next week. All right. Glad you listened to this episode. Catch me next week. I got another guest coming on, and I don't know who that's going to be. I won't even tell you guys. So otherwise than that, man, thank you for tuning in, and you guys take care. Peace.